When I first moved to LA, I did 2 shifts at a sushi restaurant. Do you remember? It was on Sunset. There was a karaoke place.
Yeah.
The beginning of my shift at 6, somebody's like, Jamie Foxx is doing karaoke.
Yeah.
And then at the end of my shift at 11, I went up. You were still on stage.
Yeah.
Like 5 hours of karaoke.
Why?
Every Tuesday.
Why?
Because it was the thing to do.
Being funny is hard work, but this group makes it look easy. We're having an unfiltered conversation with 6 of the most fearless performers in comedy. Get to know the people behind the punchlines. Jamie Foxx, Chelsea Handler, Seth Meyers, Hasan Minhaj, Sarah Silverman, Roy Wood Jr. They're all on the record, but just a little off script with The Hollywood Reporter. Hi, and welcome to Off Script with The Hollywood Reporter, Stand-Up Roundtable. I'm Lacey Rose. Let's get started. So we're gonna jump in with a question for whoever wants to take this one. When was the first time you remember realizing you were funny?
My dad was one of those dads that taught his toddler swear words, and then I yelled them out at the grocery store, and I saw all these grown-ups laughing despite themselves, and it made my arms itch with glee, and I chased that the rest of my life.
Made my
I think
arms
it usually
itch
starts with cursing early and getting attention for it, especially if you're a girl. Yeah.
We're
doing
adults
something bad out of school and people going, yeah, look at her. And you're like, okay, I can run with this.
For me, it was Little League baseball.
Huh?
4th grade, 5th grade, I rode the bench. So you ride the bench, your job is to insult the other team and throw them off their mentals.
You were particularly good at that.
Yeah, so we would just crack on the other team. And if you got the umpire to laugh or the other parents to laugh, like that was like, it's like doing an open mic set.
Making fun of teachers was big. Elementary school, making fun of teachers.
Yeah.
You had some zingers.
Yeah. That was me, 3rd grade. But I was an intellect. So my father was a teacher, my grandmother was a teacher, so I was smart, but I'm just always talking shit. And so Miss Reeves, and I'm in Texas, son, you're not gonna be able to stay in this class if you keep running your mouth. And so my grandmother brokered a deal with my 3rd grade teacher. Let me tell jokes at the end of class every Friday.
Wow.
So they gave me like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I would take the jokes off of Johnny Carson. You feel me? And I'd do it, cause the only reason I watched Johnny Carson because we were poor, but the only television was in my room, so my grandparents would stay up and watch Johnny Carson. So I took them jokes, tell them to the kids. They thought I was amazing. You feel me? So that's how I
love it.
I figured
It's a
it
good
out.
grandma,
Yeah.
too.
Did you do impressions?
Yeah, I was doing Jimmy Carter singing You Light Up My Life.
As a 3rd grader?
3rd grader. And by the time I got to 6th grade, everybody from the city was, coming. And then by the time I was, 9th grade, and then it was Ronald Reagan. Well, it's a matter of, a kid doing, the only black kid doing Ronald Reagan.
Lacey, did you know that we're sitting down with the only comedian that has all the Infinity Stones?
I did not know that either.
It's Jamie Foxx. I got on a United flight just to meet all 5 Infinity Stones right here. You run the
Your
combine.
whole
and
special was
impressions.
like 5 tools.
Yes, bro.
That was, yeah.
Yes, you came out in leather, chains, sermon,
Piano.
Yes, I
And
had
you saw the trailer for Jamie Foxx's, but you're like, oh, son of a...
Only a handful of comics can do this. Lights out.
hilarious.
Come on, bro. This is civil rights. This.
Yeah, that motherfucker,
Yeah,
that's how
man.
you come out.
That only happens every 3 decades. You gotta have.
It was comedy, it was a performance, it was a sermon, like it was all, like once you see a piano on stage, like, oh, I ain't got no piano joke.
Yeah.
All right, I suspect there have been people along the way that didn't always appreciate your humor. Looking back, what was most combative or hilarious post-joke encounter you have had?
Post-joke?
Post-joke. Maybe it was a subject. I feel like there's gotta be a Trump one for you, Seth.
Sure, but they don't feel that special. It's not, I don't feel like I'm particularly alone in having crossed the line with what he considers good taste. Yeah.
Plus, you're a Trump supporter now, so there's that.
I came around. Yeah.
We're all Trump
He's actually
supporters now.
really nice.
You guys just have a meal.
I did an Oprah joke. So there was this rumor that me and Oprah was dating each other. I said, oh, that's a perfect joke. My management team said, don't do the joke. I said, I have to. So I'm in Madison Square Garden, everybody out there, and I said, yeah, man, everybody, since I won the Oscar, everybody's saying I'm dating everybody, and I could hear him, sort of saying, I said, so I'm laying in bed with Oprah. I lean over to Gail and say, ain't this shit crazy? Stedman, get us some juice. Gail is in the audience.
Oh, no.
She didn't like it?
She loved it. Standing, hi, Jamie. That was so funny, Jamie.
Hardest I ever bombed was at Madison Square Garden. Madison Square, it's Guardian, right?
Yeah.
I know. Madison Square Garden, it was that concert for Sandy, Hurricane Sandy. And they had asked me and Bill Hader to do a Stefan. And Bill wisely said, I'm not going to do it. And then they said, what about Bobby Moynihan, his drunk uncle? And so we written this thing to go out. And Chris Rock saw us backstage in costume, and he goes, you're going to do sketches? He goes, you're going to follow The Who
Oh, that's fun.
with sketches? And we just, all our confidence drained out of our face. And sure enough, we just went out, and they were so angry.
Was I there that night?
Well, I don't know. Were you there?
The Who performed, right?
The Who, Arcade Fire. It's weird that you didn't remember us.
It sounds like it's for the best.
You guys
Yeah,
are
right?
good. It was great.
Yeah.
Politics gets me in trouble sometimes, but it's not so much a political joke as it is the early inclinations of the joke where you haven't figured out all the live wires. I remember in San Francisco, this was, week 2 of Russia, Ukraine. And the premise of what I was trying to say was essentially that we spend money to support other wars, but not wars in black neighborhoods, was what I was trying to say. But it came across from the email I got from the Ukrainian table that walked out was essentially, you don't care about us and our country, and I'm never watching Daily Show ever again, and they should blah, 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 blah. And you finally get the joke together later on, but it sucks because with political stuff, you gotta find the edge and and it's in hindsight, it's probably one of them jokes I should have done in New York on a Tuesday
Working
night
at a club,
midnight,
man.
where nobody cares.
So the Ukrainians were mad at you.
Yeah, there was a table of Ukrainians, and it was awkward.
It was a table of Ukrainians.
Yeah, it was just-
got it.
Daily Show?
Okay, now I'm there.
No, this is
I thought you
I'm
just
at
had a gang of
Cobb's.
Ukrainian friends.
Oh, okay, copy.
And I do a
let me
joke
see
that
you in
basically
Russia.
came across as anti-Ukraine. I'm not anti-Ukraine. I'm just like, y'all got money for what y'all want to have money for. And that's all I was trying to say. That ain't me hating on the invasion and you fighting back or whatever, but I didn't have enough jokes to support that part.
And sometimes
of-
you gotta let the take cook. Like
Yeah.
let that take cook.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, sweetie, you were just set up. It
Yeah.
could have been almost
Yeah.
anyone. I just needed it to juxtapose the punchline.
The joke works without saying Ukraine, but because that was what was hot, I was trying to lean into current events. Both the big, shouldn't have done that.
I thought it was funny to be like, some people are like, I'm a political comic or whatever, but then their jokes are like, Donald Trump eats pussy like this. You know, like, no.
This is, you hadn't quite worked that one out.
I was working it out. I go, well, I should say something.
Nikki Glazer recently said, so many of us feel pressure to reinvent ourselves or to get more honest or reveal more about ourselves. Who here actually feels that pressure?
I have a full-length bush right now. Please like me.
I like
Floor
you.
length?
I like
Is
you
it
and your
floor length?
bush.
It's not floor length. I don't think I could grow it floor length.
We don't know yet.
Dare to dream.
I don't know. Well, Chelsea saw me once at my bathtub.
In a
She came over.
bathtub. In a bathtub.
Remember when you came over and I was in my bathtub? And it was the first time I think anyone ever saw my vagina from that angle, including myself.
Right.
And it was so insightful. 'cause
Remember what happened? I was.
you go, you shave it and then you end there?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. Can you take a picture? I need to see it.
Seeing it through someone else's eyes must be fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that y'all talking about your pussy is amazing.
I don't know. For me, comedy is very personal. I'm airing my personal grievances, my dirty laundry, all of the things that are embarrassing, all of the things that are celebratory. Like, for me, it is very personal. So it's natural to be
Is that
personal.
pressure coming from the audience? Is it coming from the industry? Is it coming from your like
I
yourself?
think it's your choice as a creative, right? It's like, what kind of comedy are you doing? Is your comedy personal, or are you telling jokes? Are you telling personal stories? Are you telling jokes? I think for each of us, it's probably a little bit different. For me, it's always been about my personal life, my family, my friends, what's happened to me, my experiences.
But if we just say like y'all's two specials, you'll say some wild shit that, like, if just your recent special, you'll say some shit that for me it's like, can you give me a minute to digest that you were in a closet having a lesbian playing around as a teenager in Martha's Vineyard? Like, you will say something wild and speed past it, where you will sit in it and give the audience an opportunity to like absorb the trauma of it. Because like that's what I struggle with. Like, I don't talk about myself on stage like yet.
But you've talked about wanting to. I mean, that's something that you like maybe
the next thing.
one.
But we're like musicians in that way. We
Sure.
have a relationship with our audience, and
Yeah.
so the expectation is different. Like when someone sees Jamie or Seth.
Oh, when I saw Jamie's The Amount I Wished I'd Almost Died.
That's what's fucked up. I had a stroke I didn't have any jokes. Because I had a special a deal for a long time, but I didn't have nothing to talk about. What was I gonna talk about? I'm rich, I was behind my gates. I remember running into Eddie Murphy. I saw Eddie Murphy at his house, and he says he was gonna try to go do stand-up.
Yeah, I remember
that?
Yeah.
And I go to his house, and everybody went. And
Yeah.
he said he's trying to do jokes. I said, you can't. This ain't funny. Like, the house, your house is too nice, and you got whatever that scent is. He had a scent. That, you know, the shit that pumps through the
oils.
Like a hotel?
Yeah. I said, what does that smell? He said, you don't like it? What is it? And he said, it's pomegranate sass. I said, the fact that you know that shit lets me know that you
like a
ain't
hotel
funny,
bar.
bro. Like, you can't, it was too perfect. So that was me. I was living in that. So I had nothing to talk about. And then the stroke happened, and I was like, oh, this is a platform, which I don't want to have another stroke in order to have another hour.
Well.
But
But you will if you have to.
if I have to.
That's right.
I also feel like
Now I play the stroke card.
Road card.
I also feel like comedians have to go inward now, because there's so much more of a glut of opinions out there. So my opinion of the world has to be different from what everybody else with a podcast mic and a social media account and an IG live camera has to say about the worldly thing. What can you shoot, edit, and air in that 2 to 3 month window that hasn't been said about the thing that we're all seeing, versus me talking about myself, or just going, you know what, I only want to talk about loneliness, or I want to talk about being a father.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is more interesting. So it almost forces you to go somewhere, so you feel like you got something that's worthwhile to say, that's like of meaning.
It's so true. It's like your hot take on something in the world, it's still valid, but while you're honing it over months to shoot a special, 1,800 people have like recorded something in their car with their seatbelt on. And that immediacy is what's like where it's at kind of now, not in the format that we do, but on social media, which is how people consume entertainment.
But I also think that's why it can be beneficial to be telling personal stories all the time, because there is no hot take on that. Those are your stories. You know, you're talking about your experience as a father, but like no one's going to take that away from you, and no one's going to have a take on your story but you. So there is a benefit to having, you know, you personalize your comedy. And like I think Sarah, you tell jokes, right? You set up premises and you tell jokes. I don't find your comedy particularly personal. It's personal. It's like you have a personal style, right? But you're not revealing so much of yourself as say you are in your comedy. And I think that's a different style.
Except this last special
This one
is
is.
completely about my parents dying, and like everything in it is true.
Right.
So
this will.
you.
Okay.
No, you're right. It was a real
Did it
turn
feel
for
different?
me.
At the time of this taping,
Yeah.
Sarah's special has not been released. Let's just put that out there. So I have not seen that.
But there's a moment in the middle of it where you stop and you pivot and you quickly tell I think it's a masturbation joke, and because I think you say
Yeah.
you're like,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
You're
right,
like,
right.
Oh, this is getting so sad.
Just when you think it's, you know, like.
What was the masturbation? I'm just asking. What was the masturbation
Well, I talk
joke?
about burying my parents and that I am not religious, but I realize that grief has a lot of DNA as religion. We're trying to find meaning in something that we that we don't necessarily have a handle on, or and but that I believe in science, and I know that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. I wrote that, and then I say, so I do feel like, no, they're not in their casket, but they're out there, and I feel like our loved ones are watching over us, maybe not all the time, but at least when we're masturbating. And then I go, I don't know why I said that, and then I go, I think I needed to think that in order to come. And then I took a beat.
Presumably you do that because it's this sort of
Release.
Release.
Yeah, release.
It's funny, like reinvention, I think I would imagine, for myself, would be a giant mistake, whereas refining is, I think, what...
I think you should consider reinvention.
And you're alone with that, or have you heard it? I do a lot of people say behind my back.
Good friends.
Okay. But ultimately, that's what I think my goal is like to just get better. Because I think if you completely are a different persona on stage, because again, like based on that story, like you might be talking about personal stuff, but that's still a Sarah Silverman joke.
Right.
Which seems more like refining.
I just enjoy it because, like, I also enjoy consuming that type of stand-up because I'm learning more and new things and more interesting things. I'm not anti-topical humor, but my palette has changed. I mean, Hasan went through something extremely unique in terms of character assassination. So what are the jokes that come from that? Like, where does that,
At what point do you see the comedy potential in what can be, whether it's your situation or your situation? And are you seeing it or somebody else saying, like, wait a second, there's comedy here?
Yeah, I mean, I had to go through a comedy audit, which is its own thing, by TurboTax, which is its own thing. So, and make sure you file, everybody, and bring your receipts. But Indians, we like receipts. But also like there's a critique aspect to it that's also very new.
Yeah.
But that comes with what we do now.
Sure.
Like the art form is ubiquitous and on the internet, and it used to be something that you could do in the West Village, and now everybody around the world can see. And so you just got to be aware of that. That's part of it.
I mean, I am interested in hearing when you when you were having that, because people were coming at him for not being truthful about the storytelling he was, in his special. But when did you see the humor and the comedy in that?
Yeah, one of the first jokes that came to me is I called a buddy of mine, because you also have to call that buddy.
Yeah.
And I was like, Rob, how bad is it? And he was like, the article is bad, but the photos are good. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
It's good.
That's objectively hilarious, And it's also like, it is very funny to fail so bad that you bring back Jon Stewart. Like, that's objectively funny.
Oh, that's right,
It'd be like
'cause you
you
also
dying
did.
and bringing back the ghost of Johnny Carson.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's pretty awesome.
Right. To be honest, a lot of people are probably really happy at how it turned out.
So it's like,
Can I also say from the Daily Show side, like when that came out and they were like, yeah, Hasan's not gonna be the host, and then we're like trying to talk, like nobody would say why, like nobody would give any details, because we're like trying to, well, if it's not gonna be Hasan, well, who's it gonna be? Should I stay? I don't know. Well, what happened to Hasan? Oh, well, there's we're just gonna reopen the search. Like nobody could even even put into words what it was you were being accused of.
Anything.
but it's okay. But this is like the NBA. You get traded. You go through the portal and sign and trade, and it happens.
I think was
What'd they tell you?
Oh, bro, that's the showbiz call.
Oh, shit.
We've had the showbiz call.
No, I haven't.
What's the showbiz
The
called?
showbiz call.
We are such fans
call.
of you.
Yeah, you get the showbiz call.
I never got that call.
You get the showbiz call.
I have an Oscar and a Grammy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a very loving rejection. It's the showbiz call. I think everything is fodder for comedy.
Okay.
Like everything in your life, good or bad, painful or it's fodder.
fodder.
Yeah.
You must have immediately thought, you
Jamie
must
almost
have
died.
seen the comedy in it immediately, right?
I was doing so many jokes in the hospital. They were like,
like,
because I kept asking the doctor, I don't want to be stroke man. Yeah, that's me. And my sister would be like, please, that's the only way I could get through it. I'm a comic, so it was like, even when I was heavily sedated, they gave me Oxycontin, Dilaudid, and morphine at the same time for my pain. So I was kind of.
they gave you that Sackler special.
Yo, they gave it. This is for your pain, and this is so you don't remember it. So they Men in Black me. So the motherfucker turned in the wheel. Yo, take this here, and you won't remember. Anyway, so I'm fucked up, and then This is not funny. I snuck my phone because I didn't know what the outside world was saying. And so I snuck my phone to see what people were saying. I've just been in this hospital and I couldn't get my mind around it. I had a stroke. I'm in fucking perfect shape. The clone shit threw me.
Yes.
When they said I was a clone, that made me flip in the hospital. That's it. These motherfuckers are trying to clone me. I didn't have a stroke. So I'm sitting in the hospital bed like these bitch ass. And then I saw me walk into my room. But I'm white. So I see the white me.
But he had a Caesar too, just
Not
like you?
all that, the white me.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm like, and I'm trying to get their attention. And no one said anything. And I'm like, that's it. They trying to clone me. This motherfucker is all the thing. And so the next morning I was out of my bed. I was standing there like Chris Pratt in Jurassic Park. I was like, what the fuck? And Dave was like, what's up, Fox? I said, what's up, Fox? I said, I know what's up. You trying to clone me, motherfucker. I saw the white clone. And I know why you're trying to clone me. And make me white, because I'll sell better overseas and all this other kind of So they had to call like my
Psychiatrist.
I had a psychiatrist on board, and I'm sitting in this motherfucker.
You read your conspiracy
I'm
theory,
thinking
and
I'm a
it said
clone.
yes.
And when the psychiatrist says, "Are you all right?" and I says, "Am I all right or am I all white?" I saw what happened yesterday. I saw a motherfucker, you trying to get the white motherfucking Jamie Foxx, and it ain't gonna happen. So he just calmly goes, I think we're gonna lower your dosage.
And after that, they just cloned you as black guys, right?
I see everything as funny. I think we're over seriousing comedy. What would you do if you didn't
comedians
have
are
this?
held to as opposed to the standards politicians are held to. It's just absurd.
Yeah, them motherfuckers always think it's our fault. Like it's always the comedian. That was going to be the title of one of my specials, "Kill the Comedian," because it's just like, you know.
It's also like you're the only ones going after Trump. You're the only ones going after Trump. It's like the pressure to constantly talk about Trump. It's like we're also comedians. You're also supposed to provide people with a reprieve from thinking about Donald Trump for a minute, for an hour, for however long your show is. You know, you want to provide that.
That's why I like also doing stand-up, because I'm so tired of it.
It's
ultimately.
like I've been there, done that. Everyone knows how I feel. I can't just keep banging this drum.
You weren't using your platform enough to speak about the issue. But like, but like, how do you like? Okay, it should all be jokes. Everything's funny.
Jokes, fuck
but we dealing with audiences, bro, where they want to come and be emotional and feel.
Fuck them, run them over. Run them over. Fucking tell that shit.
But ain't the job to
I talk
get the
about
people to laugh?
The last shit I did, I talked about, I didn't know I had gray hairs on my nuts. And I did 30 minutes on this. No, I didn't know, because I shave and I dye everything, but I cut all it. I never thought to look under there. You know, and then I'm dating this younger girl and we're talking shit.
Don't touch me. I can't relate to what.
All right, what's an unpopular opinion you hold about comedy? It may be exactly what you're saying.
Just be funny. Fuck it. Like I don't know. I know sometimes the chatter gets to you. Yeah. And that's why when I was trying to do my routine, I couldn't let anybody come watch it. Because they would say something and then I would, and it would make me gun shy. So like I would just, try to stay in this sort of thing of I'm just gonna say whatever comes to mind. But the minute someone, it's the Adam and Eve of it. When Adam said, "I'm naked," who told you was naked? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I want to stay funny, which is hard because everybody just thinks it's. I don't know what they think. They think it's literal. Does that make sense?
Correct.
They think everything that we're saying is literal. Like when I said I wasn't dating white girls anymore, I didn't really mean that.
Anyone else?
Chelsea really put me in my place, and I was so grateful.
This is a big admission, by the way, on the record, bro.
No.
When black
Every
Twitter,
black girl was like, "Thank you," and they see me with my white girl.
Hello, we're right here together. Hello, everybody. Please pick us up.
I married a brown woman, so I kept it 100%. Love is love, but I did my part.
That's not nice.
I did my part.
What is an unpopular opinion you guys hold about comedy?
I don't like punchlines. I just like the setups.
I think, look, I'll say this. I think the art form is bigger than ever. So when people critique it, I'm like, there's more comedians doing theaters and arenas than ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like watching the NBA contracts. The NBA contracts are bigger than
Hilarious.
ever.
Yep.
And the critique of it is louder than ever. So NBA contracts are bigger than ever. Stephen A. Smith is louder than ever.
Yep.
But both come
First
with
of
it.
all, be clear.
Yeah, but you know, take the good with
It's
the
two
bad.
worlds.
Yeah.
It's this world, and then it's the real world. There's the commentary, there's the 281 comments that we think is the whole world, and then there's Joe Coy selling out
Arenas.
fucking arenas. There's we're canceled here, but yet you're doing stadiums. So
Shane
it,
Gillis
I don't know. I don't know how to.
twice.
I don't know how it. I don't know how it plays. I don't even know how this plays because we're discussing something that is what's the particular. You know, it's the serious, most serious look at comedy. But this motherfucker's out there working 9 to 5,
Theory.
paying
Yeah.
tickets to come see you do your thing. And you know, that's
it's a
the other
me-
side of it.
And it's a medium that's been pretty unscathed by cancel culture. Even though people
Absolutely.
have been canceled, they haven't been
haven't been
canceled,
canceled.
just like he was saying.
Right, they're
it's,
still selling
It's kind
out
of a
huge
medium where you
arenas.
can get away with what you really want to say. There is no other, other than
The streets
writing or
choose you.
authorship. Like, you get to say whatever you want to say and however you want to say it, and it's up to you whether, it's up to your audience whether or not they're coming for it. So you're not being directed by another person. And there's a
It's such a sham of like, we can't even say what we want anymore. Yes, you can. Yeah. If you're a dangerous comedian, you see yourself as edgy, the thing that makes you dangerous or edgy is that there are consequences. You don't want any consequences? That makes it not unfair to you? Like,
Yeah.
you can say anything you want. It's a free country.
Yeah, so it's like when you say like an unpopular opinion, to me it's like, well, what's something about comedy you don't like? Well, whatever is something I don't like, it's something that worked for somebody else.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's just, it may not be your joke bucket that you do or your style, be it talking about people or doing reaction videos or you do crowd work, whatever. It's all what the streets have chosen and decided that they like.
It's a market.
And so,
Yeah.
so it's hard for me to like, I like the question, but it's hard for me to just go, well, I don't like that.
I
Well, it's
get it.
probably because I can't do it. I'm not good at crowd work, so yeah, I hate on it.
Wait, Jamie, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
This is real. This is gonna make every comic lose their minds. Is it true? Chris Spencer told me this story.
Yeah.
To do this special, you didn't go to a club, you practiced it in your living room.
In my living room, 128 every single day in front of Chris Spencer and some other guy.
128.
128.
1 p.m.?
1:28 p.m. I would come down, and we built a little stage, and I said, "Here's the set." Now we did like 6 hours to 8 hours worth of material, but we dialed in the set, but we didn't get a chance to take it out on the road. And how you gonna test that shit?
Yeah, right.
How you gonna test
That's
it?
what I'm saying.
Until
So
blown,
good
all
TMZ
over.
The article waiting to happen.
Yeah, what people don't know is that it wasn't a tour, it was Atlanta
Yes.
in 2.5 shows.
Yes.
I said do a show on Thursday because I had an English director and I had never worked with him and I was trying to explain to him we got to land on the moon. Yeah. And he was very, well, Jamie, I want to make sure when we go into the eyes and we make sure that we go here and make sure that your face, I've seen your early work, but I want to make sure that this and that and this and
And
that.
he hasn't seen any footage from the living room.
No.
Roy, do you understand? He did a cold reading.
Your
of
director
his
for your
special.
special
Yes.
should know the material before.
No,
Yeah.
but we didn't have that kind of thing. So we saw some of it, but he was more, this and that. And so then it was, I've never had an English or a white person tell me what black comedy is.
Yeah.
So I had to do this. And I said, well, it's gonna be black people. Oh, of course, there'll be blacks, but I wanna make sure that when we go, and we peer inside your, I said, man, but it's gonna be black people. I get that. But the thing is, I said, okay, it's gonna be some, oh God. Why would you say that? I said, because that's where we're going. We're going to Atlanta. It's gonna be some, and I saw it throw him. I said, don't let that throw you, because you're gonna need to feel that when we go, because we don't know what we're gonna need. And I said, this is how it's gonna go. Thursday night, it's gonna be crazy, because the Thursday night ain't cool enough for Friday night tickets. So they're gonna be
A little rowdy.
am I right? Friday, all +1s. Them motherfuckers was gonna be like this. And then Saturday at 12 noon, we go to see that Jamie Foxx shit, right? And he's like, what? I said, that's how it's gonna play out. And so then we go down to Atlanta and we ask Atlanta to just hold us down.
Did you ever hear him on a cell phone talking to his agent being like, I feel as though I've been mischosen?
No, you know what?
It looks great. You did a great job.
Hamish is the same guy that shot the Super Bowl with Usher, and he was great because what he did, he allowed me to talk that shit Because most people would have been like, hey man, I don't want to deal with that. I said, no, he let me talk my shit. He let me have what I needed, and then he says, okay, now I just need to make sure that this thing looks this and that, because we didn't have. He was great, in other words, because my whole team was like, yo man, we got this shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so now I'm going back out, but I'm gonna test my shit.
Are there places you guys think that audiences won't go with you, or you're nervous about whether they will go with you?
I mean, I'm on my way to Europe to do a European tour to apologize on behalf of our country. You know, and I hope they're with me. I hope they accept my apology and understand that all Americans aren't supportive of what's happening in our country. So that's, but I think as a comic, and you guys tell me if you disagree, but we're all pretty known entities, so when your audience comes, they're coming for it.
Yeah.
They want it, and they know what they're coming for. It's not like, you know, we're starting out, so you have an advantage.
But I wonder, like someone like you, Seth, who is out on television every night as one thing, do people come to your stand-up shows sort of expecting more of that, and how do you then walk
They might
that?
very well.
Yeah.
I definitely have a fear that people buy tickets for me sometimes with the expectation that it will be a show about politics. And I don't necessarily want to go do that because, again, I get to scratch that itch all week long. And so hopefully the show is funny enough that if they have that expectation, they're not let down. But I do in the back of my head, I also, you know, I've done a couple specials where there hasn't been a lot of politics, so I'm hopeful that the more I do that, the less people think that. But I worry a little bit.
Do you read your Ticketmaster reviews?
No.
Do you?
Oh, no, don't do that.
You do?
Don't do Ticketmaster.
What's the worst one you've read?
Ticketmaster
Only
reviews.
for joke critiquing, though.
Oh, interesting.
I don't care about anything else.
Do you feel like you get a good...
No, but
good
that's not fair, because they'll start critiquing the parking.
No,
It'll be like, the
and I
parking
don't
at the
care about
Chicago
that.
theater was horrendous.
Bro,
Then we walked in, $12
I'm
for
immune
beer?
to this shit.
Really? It's like, come on.
Last
man.
Comic Stand that made us live tweet in 2010, and you see all the worst shit about you in real time for 8 straight weeks. So I'm like, internet hate doesn't bother me, but the idea of people going, oh, I thought he would have been more political. And I'm like, well, no, that's
It's a different...
the CNN thing. That's not what I do now. And so that part, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So then some shows, I'll front load. I'll change the bad order of the bits. Front load, all right, if I got 10 minutes on politics, I'll do that, get it out the way, give you what you thought you wanted. The late, great John Witherspoon, and you know this.
God bless.
Recipes.
John Witherspoon, because he knew his audience loved his movie appearances or whatever, his first 5 to 8 minutes is just material about movies he's been in. Bang, 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 you gotta coordinate. Like he would do the werewolf, the vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He would do all of that. And then the next 53 minutes is just straight heat. So that's what the ticket, like, and I only know, because they don't say that on YouTube. They don't say that, and I never would be aware of that. And those are the only reviews I read. I don't go on YouTube and
Bob
comment.
Saget that shit.
It's Bob Saget
Bob
was the
Saget,
first
that
name that came in my head
Bob
because he's
motherfucking
so dirty.
Saget.
His stand-up is so dirty, but
Bob
he was America's
Saget, that
dad.
shit. This motherfucker.
He
was
had to just be
absolutely
ready
insane.
to not be what people expected.
Take it off the rails.
Comedy
That
fucking.
motherfucker
But
was
he had to...
No, he
I
was
mean,
a
they
left
knew
turn.
immediately,
He was a
right?
left turn.
Yeah, and they love that. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
that really worked for him. But
Red
I just
Fox.
feel like when you're, oh my God.
Sanford and Son, he's doing the Sanford and Son shit, and then he goes to do Vegas. He said, if you see me holding a white bitch, I'm holding it for the police. And it's all these beautiful, cute white families that were in the first 13 rows, you know, lead. But yeah, you gotta, I understand about the comments. I don't like to read the things because it fucks with your head a little bit, right? Like
Be a woman, and I'm not trying to, but like women comics, like anything on Rotten Tomatoes, anything people can vote for, it's just 0, 0, 0, 0. Just so many people, so many, like, I don't know who they are, just very motivated.
But I don't ever
None
read
of our business.
anything about myself. I just don't. I can hear bad things about me if I want to.
Sure.
I don't need to go look for it, you know? And especially as a woman, maybe it's different than being a man. I wouldn't know, I'm not a man yet, but like I don't want to hear about it. I'm not interested in hearing all the negative opinions about me. I'm aware they're out there, but it's not really of an interest.
I will say I saw one about me that made me laugh, where someone said, and again, I'm very cognizant of being a white comedian over 50, and someone wrote, every white comedian over 50 either becomes anti-trans or a big old jar of mayonnaise. Because I will say, like, when I was 25, I was like, oh my God, guys, certain comedians reach an age where they just start telling jokes about their kids and their family. And you're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden you realize you're like, oh man, that's what I am. At least I leaned mayo.
Well, it's like, you know how there was like a generation maybe after us that knew that it was hacky to talk about like airplanes and rental cars, but they didn't understand the reason why comics talk about that is because they're on the road in this
airplanes.
They just were like
cars.
at Largo or wherever, knowing that that's hacky. It's like it's hacky because that's our lives and that's what we write about. And nothing's hacky on its face. Any topic is fair game if you can be hilarious on any topic. My favorite joke is an airplane joke of Kevin Nealon's that I feel like I tell more than him. He goes, I was on a plane and I don't think the pilot was very experienced, you know? He got on, he was like, oh, thank you for flying with us. We'll be taking off in roughly 5 to 10. Oh, whoa, here we go. And he comes back on 5 minutes later. Oh, where is the, oh, here it is.
It's good. Presumably you do get feedback from other people in the industry itself, and that is stuff I would guess you do listen to and you do take to heart. What is there a piece of whether it's a compliment or a critique from some other comic that you've used?
When you're riffing with comics, like we'll sometimes riff and be like, that's great.
Oh,
that's
me, him, and Ronnie Chang,
Yeah.
Daily Show glory days, we'd be in the hall just bouncing
Riffing,
premises for specials and stuff.
They go, oh, that's funny. They go, oh, that's funny.
Helpful.
Yeah, write that down. That's good. Yeah, and then you just start building from there. Because when you're riffing with a comic that you respect, you're really respecting their discernment.
Totally.
Of like, oh, you see something that there's really something. There's a lot of fodder here. But for you as you came up as a head writer.
Yeah.
All you had to do was like look at POV and perspective. So I bet your discernment of this is really great. This take totally works.
I feel like
this.
with a lot of accuracy, I can just know ahead of time how a joke's gonna work.
Yeah.
Like the ones I feel like I can't, maybe this will work, tend not to.
Yeah.
And the ones that I feel like the writing's tight do. So I'm not surprised a ton on stage with how anything goes.
I'm always surprised with specials, because like the last 2 specials I did, I shot 2 nights, 1 show each night. And both times, the first time was a shock, and the second time I kind of understood it. I was like, the first night, you're just excited you got it. And now you're like, now I'm free. And then the second night feels magical because you're not in your head and so you go, oh, we'll just use the whole second night. And then the editor was like, I'm liking the first night. And I go, no. I had all these, like, someone yelled out and I had an amazing, like, totally in the moment thing and blah, blah. But it didn't look in the moment. It was in the moment and it was totally off the cuff, but it didn't look that way. And then the first night was better, but because it wasn't better for me, my experience of it wasn't better, I just assumed the one that felt magical was better, but when you look at it, maybe I was in my head, maybe there was a inner monologue going on, but it's a better...
Same thing happened to me. I think it's the precision of being in your head, right? Like that butterflies actually help you focus. 100% felt both times.
Yep.
Where I'm like, it's the second one.
It's a thing.
And then it's the first one where you were spinning out in your head. It looks so good on camera.
Because your experience wasn't as fun as the second night where you felt free.
And I took some enhancements.
Wait, what?
I took some enhancements to go on stage because I thought since Richard Pryor did enhancements,
What are enhancements?
Hey, Jamie, don't do that. Don't implicate yourself.
I was going to do some enhancements.
It's like a clone blocker.
Like cocaine?
Like a beta blocker?
make it.
Some people call it cocaine.
Some people
I don't call it that.
And some people don't.
Some
Sarah.
people call it enhancement. I just want to be on the record.
No one calls it enhancements.
No one calls it enhancement.
I want to
got
go
like
on the record to
1,000
say I
slang
hate
words.
cocaine.
Yeah.
I just like how it smells.
Okay.
What?
Terrible.
Whatever it was that I did, I thought, okay, this is going to get me over the hump. So I went on stage and I said, I killed that shit. And this is when Marcus King was my manager. And I said, King, I know we recorded that shit. Let me see that shit. He said, you want to see it? And he played it back. And I was, and he was like, he says, and this is a different version of it. He says, sometimes when you think you killing, it's not, that's what it is. Because we've all had those sets where, oh, that shit was hot, and then you look back at it, oh, we were a little maybe too loose, or we were a little take too much time in between whatever you were trying to get to.
And when you're forced to be in an uncomfortable place, it's probably more interesting to look at.
Yeah.
It's also,
But it doesn't feel good.
something when you learn about being nervous before going on stage. Like I always used to go, well, when am I not going to be nervous? When am I not going to be nervous? When am I going to be free? And it's like nervous, then you find out being nervous means you care.
Right.
So being
Yeah.
nervous is,
Yeah.
and being overthinking things is why you deliver an A+ set in your 1st
You're
show.
you're
because
present,
you
you're
care
alive,
and
yeah.
you're like, I've got A, B, C, and D and I'm going to deliver this. And then that's why it's a home run.
Like Chris Rock was very complimentary
Come on, man.
of my last special, but it's just like, you gotta do it like this and do it in the hurry up.
Come on, man.
But you know, like he's a master also at editing as well. And so he's telling me shit about like, all right, this joke, catch at this angle, this punchline, catch at a wide shot, but this line, and I'm like, motherfucker, it's too late. We done shot the shit. For where I am in the comedy totem pole, especially in black comedy, I
Speak
feel
on
like
it,
I
brother.
am imposing
What?
on the OGs. Like, I can call D.L. Hughley, and I know I got one call a year with D.L. Hughley on a premise. I know I got one call, well, maybe with George Wallace, I got 2 calls a year. Hey,
Whole world is
OG.
crazy.
Yeah, I be thinking.
Whole world is crazy. I tell you, L.A. and these streets, I tell you, Lyceum, I don't like that. I hate that. Lyceum, what kind of street is that? Lyceum.
Yeah, no, I don't think
Okay,
I've
my bad.
gotten
That's a
bad
good George
advice.
Wallace.
That's
man,
a
the whole world is crazy.
that's an OG George Wallace job.
But it's just, you don't know what you're doing until you've done it. And like, that's the hardest part, I think, of putting any special together.
And I also think getting so many opinions, not so many, isn't good for you either.
Yeah. Sure.
Not that you're getting too many, but it's not good to get so many opinions. You have to own what you're
It's
doing.
so singular, you're
And
right.
understand what your thing is. You know, what are you putting out there, and have confidence in your ability to capture an audience.
My rule is like almost like lunch. The right amount of people to, yo, what are we getting for lunch? Is 4 people.
Right.
8, this is how you end up at
Yep,
Sweet Green.
that's-
This is how you end up at Sweet Green all the time. 4 is ideal.
Like, at what part do you listen to yourself and not listen to the other people that are advising you?
When you get older. Now that I got older, my hunches aren't great.
How do you know that?
I have to lean
Yeah,
on.
how you lose
Yeah,
that?
how do you
I don't know. It ain't good. But if you tell me where to go get it, I can go get it. You feel me? Like my execution is better.
But isn't a piece of that also just you're surrounded by people who are saying, yes, you're great? I mean, you reached that
No, I was
point
around a lot
in-
of white people that were laughing at me,
Well.
and I thought I was, well, these white people
Black
got
folks
it.
tell you the truth.
Black folks tell you it's a whole different world.
We have to reenact 50 Cent in My Love Story.
Man, that shit had me in a headlock for months, bro. I didn't know how to look at 50, because I had G-Unit jeans.
We all did.
No, I had G-Unit jeans, G-Unit
And,
sneakers,
and vitamin water.
vitamin. I had
Vitamin
everything.
water?
I was fucking.
You didn't drink Formula
I broke a
50
record.
vitamin water?
Yes.
It does sound
broke a
familiar
record
now
in
that you say
Atlanta
it.
at a
When I first moved to LA, I did 2 shifts at a sushi restaurant. Do you remember? It was on Sunset. There was a karaoke place.
Yeah,
And I
every
remember,
Tuesday.
Yeah,
That was us.
At the beginning of my shift at 6, somebody's like, Jamie Foxx is doing karaoke,
Yeah.
and I went up. And I was like, I just moved to LA. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I can't believe I'm staying. And then at the end of my shift at 11, I went up. You were still on stage.
Yeah.
Like 5 hours
Yeah.
of karaoke.
Why?
Every Tuesday.
Why?
Because it was the thing to do. I would shoot my show, the Jamie Foxx show, from 6 to 9. We
You
gotta
had
be
a
done by
job
9.
and-
I gotta be done by 9. We got karaoke that starts at 9:45. You were there?
I was.
Did you get up on stage?
No, I was working.
Oh, you were. Oh, got it. Oh, right. Serving sushi.
Yeah.
I had
Yes,
Whitney
naturally.
Houston there. It's 2000, and Whitney Houston is the female singer of the millennium. And me and Bobby doing Don't Be Cruel and shit, and then I got
In a sushi restaurant on a Tuesday.
At Miyagi's.
That's it.
with him,
Miyagi's.
with him
Miyagi's.
serving.
Oh, I remember.
So we're there
Miyagi's.
one night, and we partying, and then I said, I gotta use the bathroom. And while I'm in the bathroom, I hear, now Jamie, let me tell you something. I don't do this for nobody. I get $1 million to sing this song. It's Whitney Houston. But it's not camera phone days. I come out, I grabbed, it was a,
Handy cam?
yes. And Bobby had told, don't nobody film this. And I said, Bobby, let me get it. I filmed Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston goes up, and she says, and I will always. No camera phone, but people called their answer machines.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So I film Whitney Houston singing whatever the name of that song is.
I love you.
I will always love you, whatever.
Feels
So
like
I'm filming. So now, I got the tape. Go back to my crib in Van Alden. So as I'm sitting there, we having a little after party.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I hear this. Somebody's at my door. How they at my door? They didn't ring the gate. They must have jumped the fence. It's Bobby Brown. I open the door and Bobby, yo, I gotta take that tape. I said, Bobby, I don't have a tape. Well, I gotta take something. I was like, what the fuck? So he comes in my house, goes in my closet, and he's taking clothes and matching outfits and shit. And I'm like,
That's
dude,
collateral.
He had to take $1 million.
whatever the fuck, he's
He had to
matching.
take the enhancements.
And then,
to take.
and then
like,
he's
give me
matching
some
the
of those
outfits and shit. I'm like, you
Do
can
you
take
have,
them
how
clothes.
could I say it? What's the word that
Where
you
are the
think?
enhancements?
The
I'm not, no, well, probably. But I'm not, I said, whatever, you take whatever you want. So
Did
he
you have the tape? Were you lying?
I had the tape.
So you lied. You lied to Bobby Brown.
I'm not gonna get this tape. What?
Lied about, I don't think
where's
lying
the
about
tape
Brown is a
now?
big
So I
deal.
got the tape.
Valued honesty above everything.
So he takes all these clothes, takes off. And I said, cool. So I kept the tape. 12 weeks later, I look on People magazine or some shit, and he's got my clothes on. And it says, Bobby Brown clothes by Prada. I'm like, no, it ain't. That's clothes by Jamie Foxx.
Wait, where's the tape?
I had a tape.
Got the tape.
It's still, it'd be pretty cool if I was walking through the background with a couple of trays of
Yeah.
tempura.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
At the time,
Yes.
it was YMCA. At the time.
And now?
Different meaning.
Poison, Belle Biv DeVoe.
Oh, wow.
Wait, well, now I
It's
kind of know.
driving me. Everybody sings that.
What's, no, I kind of have to know. What's everyone else's?
I don't.
Return of the Mac is another great one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Roses, Outcast, or That's What Friends Are For.
Word.
Dionne Warwick and
Yeah.
Friends.
What's the thing you always find funny, even if you probably shouldn't?
People falling
Yeah.
down.
People falling down is
And
great.
down like long, like it's not one fall, it's a series of falls and
The
then
stair,
a water and a body of
Memphis
water.
gas station shootings.
Specific.
Took mine.
Yeah,
Once again, Jamie takes mine.
Jamie Foxx at the roast of, was it
The
Emmett?
Shaq roast, right?
Emmett Smith.
Emmett Smith.
It was an Emmett Smith. Shaq was there.
And Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, man.
Doug
Such a sad
Williams,
day.
it was your-
I have to watch it every 6 months.
Sad
I
day.
do still love breaking. I do. I love laughing at breaking. Even though I
You
know
made
it's
it.
not professional.
Yes, I did. Billy Crystal and Robin Williams was my first roast. How you think that played?
Not good.
Them motherfuckers.
Have you ever done a roast?
I've done the Correspondence Center, which is a roast, but you're bombing, but later it works out.
And nobody comes back at you.
Nobody comes back at you. Yeah, you just bomb.
That's a part of a roast
Yeah, you
that I
just
have
bomb
a real
and you
respect
take your
for
fellow home.
is that you are,
We
by
didn't even get into
participating,
that
you are
shit.
admitting that you're fine with people coming after you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not, roasting's not my thing. I'm not really like, I don't have many comedy bylaws, but I generally don't talk about people. I'll talk about issues, but I try not to just single out.
I feel like I do too much roasting as a real person.
Yeah.
You know, to do it on stage would just be taking it to an unnecessary level.
Your Pacino roast was great too. You gotta fight. You're gonna claw. Like you're great.
Okay.
Wait, I have to apologize to
Please
Chelsea.
do.
2008, I think I came on your show. I think I came on Chelsea lately.
We all remember.
Yes.
We know where this is going.
And I was very dismissive about celebrity news as a thing to make humor about. As a result, I was never booked again on Chelsea lately because the producers clocked it and it was like, don't bring that back. Having now worked on CNN for 20 episodes and having guests who don't give a fuck about the topic that the fucking show is about is hard. And I'm sorry.
That's nice, but I
I'm
probably had
sorry.
no idea about those conversations
No,
going
I'm
on.
not saying it was you. It was one of your producers. The
But
producer
yes,
was very
I
pissed.
hear you what you're saying. Absolutely, you have to respect the show you're on to a degree, right?
Yeah. And
It's like coming on your show and having nothing to talk about and refusing to supply any stories.
When
You're
people
like,
show
what
me,
did
like,
you do
"What
over the
is
summer?
this?"
You're like, not talking about it. I refuse to talk about it.
What is this at 30 Rock is crazy. What is this place?
Yeah. What is this?
What's
And
the,
these-
what's
this
the
is an
significance
audience?
of this place?
All right, we're gonna do the hardest possible pivot to take us out.
The lightning
No,
round.
we want the
You want-
lightning
you
round.
want-
Done.
okay,
We
what
want
is-
the
We want the
lightning
lightning
round.
round.
What is the most used emoji on your phone?
Prayer hands.
I
Brown
can't
prayer
say.
hands.
I don't think I can say.
What is it?
Black fist.
Pirates
Okay.
flag.
What?
Every time the Pittsburgh Pirates win a game, I text up Pirate, but it's the Pirate
got
flag.
it. Got it. Yes. I was thinking. Okay. Yeah.
Also the Black Fist.
You don't use emojis, do you?
Yeah, all the time.
What do you
What
use?
are emojis? What is this?
It's
you
like
guys
it's
speak-
cocaine that comes in a little.
It's an enhancement.
It's enhancements.
It's an
an
enhancement. It's a
enhancement.
text enhancement.
All right, one more. All right, so much more media is served up to us. What does the algorithm think you like?
I was just saying, I'm getting a lot of my, the algorithm's giving me old Sarah Silverman show clips.
Oh, that's nice.
fun.
That's
You mean like
fun.
on your Instagram?
Yeah.
My algorithm thinks I am only interested in neck creams, and I'm not.
Mine is home improvement and dark-skinned women with big booties.
Oh.
No, those
Home
are the two
Improvement, the
things
show, or Home Improvement, the
like,
activity?
like painting and shit, and then there's just big booty black women. That's what I be in.
Mine
I'm
is
into
like Ja Morant highlights, but then ways to stretch your back after 40.
Yes.
Okay.
Like lower back,
Yep.
chiropractor.
You guys are
I'm so glad I asked. This is great.
You guys are so pure. It's amazing.
And?
Mine are obese animals, black women with large booties, and mostly, and politics, a lot of politics.
Jamie, are you getting? Do you get
He's
any?
looking at his
He's
Is he
looking-
trying to find them right
he's
now?
on-
What's
Looking at
happening?
is-
He's
they have
distracted.
the same-
So-
by the way, they have
It's the
same
same one?
algorithm.
No, the FYP
no.
is the For You page for them is crazy.
Oh, that
Do
one,
I-
that one, that one. No, here,
Airdrop that one to that one.
You know,
To
you
be
can just
fair-
connect your phones now, guys.
Wait,
and then
what are
jump
we
each other.
looking at?
Mine has more like
They're looking
home
at their
improvement.
Discovery
I know, I
page.
get
Oh,
it.
got
but I
it.
want to know.
All women.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Pussy, 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 pussy.
Got it. Well, I'm so glad you all went on that journey with me. Thank you
Thank you for taking us.
Hey, by the way, cheers, everyone.
You know,
We had champagne and we didn't cheers.
Oh, wait, no, you can't do that. Cheers. Jamie Foxx.